City County Joint Work Session, November 7, 2023. The time is 4 p.m. This meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk.
City Manager Burton.
Here.
City Commissioner Deep. Here. City Commissioner Logan.
Here.
City Commissioner Reed. Here. Mayor Collins.
Here.
County Commissioner Hunthausen.
Here.
County Commissioner Payne. Here. County Commissioner Roth.
Here.
Chief Administrative Officer Balls.
Here.
And for the record, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Shurtleff from the city is excused.
Roger. Welcome and thank you for participating in the City County Joint Work Session. We are pleased to be able to provide this alternative meeting format in the City County effort to broaden public participation. Please be patient as we may experience technical difficulties during the meeting. We welcome your public commentary. Please read the following tips and guidelines for the app usage. Comments, questions? Before we turn it over to Director Kanopki, anything from the body? Director Kanopki, you've been warned. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. So the abridged version of this MPO update is we've been designated and we have some agreements to sign in the future. I have to answer any questions.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
You're done?
Yes, no.
Oh, man, I knew you were kidding.
So Mayor and Commissioners, we have been designated by the governor. That came through at the end of October. We have a few agreements that are stacked up that we have to get ready and signed. So we have an interlocal between the city, county, and East Helena. We have what they call a 3 Cs, a performance, a PL agreement. So there's a roughly 6-7 agreements that we have to get in place. Right now, we're about 75 to 85% done with the agreements and the revisions. Once I get the interlocal back, we'll send those out to the respective agencies for one last review along with MDT. And then once we get those comments, those will go to each of the entities, departments for their review. And then if we have any revisions, we'll make those and then they'll bring them forward to the respective commissions to get signed. Once those are signed, especially the interlocal and the PL agreement, then we can start tapping into our PL funds and proceeding on. Our first, after the agreements get signed, our first piece of business will to have the PCC meeting, the Policy Coordinating Committee, which is made up of the mayor of Helena, Mayor East Helena, chairman of the county commissioners, and 2 other members to establish the TAC. And then that kind of kicks us off down the road of where we're going with the MPO. And so hopefully that'll take place in the next agreements this month, and then setting up the PCC meeting. Probably December is a rough time to get any meetings scheduled. So probably in the first couple of weeks of January. And then a couple of months after that, we'll be hopefully going out for requests for update of the LRTP. We'll be bringing a budget amendment.
What's an LR?
Sorry, Commissioner, the long range transportation plan. We'll be going forward to the city commission for a budget amendment so that we can get some funds so we can hire a staff person for the MPO to basically walk along these next few steps. And then they'll be the ones coordinating all the documents, the agreements, consultants, and general requirements of the MPO. Now I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Geez, he's still talking. No, go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 questions. One, does the PCC determine the tax makeup, or is that already in the agreements?
Mayor and Commissioners, we've already generalized the TAC makeup, but that doesn't preclude the PCC from making any changes. They are the policy setting committee for the MPOs.
And then my second question was, how long did the last LRTP update take, and do we think it'll be?
Mayor and commissioners, the last LRT, they usually take about a year. This one's gonna be a little bit more involved. There's a few more requirements of the MPO, so, but I think it'll be done in a year.
Thank you.
Please, Commissioner.
Mr. Mayor, thanks. Mr. Knopke. Barring any changes by the PCC, the TAC is made up of, there are community members participating in that. I guess my general question is, throughout this process, once we get our feet under us, and there's a PCC, right? That's the correct TAC. We gave public, and somebody asked me that today, and I was like, I kind of winged it, but how is the public involved throughout the planning process then?
Sure, Commissioner. So the PCC is the policy folks made up of the MPO. The TAC is made up of technical, the county engineer, city engineer, technical advisory to the PCC. But along with those other agreements, we also have to create a public participation plan on how we're gonna allow, how the public is gonna be able to interact with the TAC and the MPO. And so that'll all be laid out in a plan.
Good. That's kind of what I said. Public will have plenty of opportunity to participate. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Question, if I might.
Please, Commissioner.
I just kind of came in as we were getting rid of the old TCC. What's the difference in makeup or in ability to do things with the new community?
Sure. So the little bit of difference is the PCC is 5 members, and they set policy in the direction of funding. The TAC is very similar to the TCC in the makeup. You have, the district engineer from NDT, you have county technical experts, you have city, East Helena. Those are all to make up the technical portion side of that. So it's similar to the TCC. We'll be talking about similar items that go on. It's just we'll be talking it as a one body instead of 3 separate bodies.
Thanks.
Will the PCC, that's a hard thing, will the PCC meet regularly or just as needed?
Mayor and Commissioners, so right now we have them set up to meet quarterly. But that is also up to the PCC if they, in the beginning want to meet more regularly to, get everything on track, or, keep it quarterly.
Is the TAC gonna do the same then?
Yes. The TAC will probably meet a little bit more often, just because the PCC will say, we want you to look into this and that and the other thing, and that'll be their they'll have to get together and meet and have some discussion about it.
Yes. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Does the State Department of Transportation have any say in the direction this takes? Because that's local folks. Am I way off?
They have some, but the MPO is the one that directs where they want to have their planning funds go, and then obviously implementation. We do have to meet with the federal and some state guidelines as far as how we do things, but they're not, I guess, in the driver's seat. The MPO is. They'll be there for technical assistance and some other resources.
Commissioner Hogan.
Mr. Mayor, so lots of acronyms. And I don't know that there's a lot of public online, but there might be people that come back and watch this particular administrative meeting. So generally, broadly, what is the purpose of the MPO? And what existing boards does it place?
Sure, Commissioner. So broadly, the MPO is set up beds that once we reach a certain population in our urban boundary, then we go into a MPO, which is a metropolitan planning organization. Through that process, we also designate a planning area. It doesn't have to be the same as our urban boundary, but the area. So our LRTP boundary, our long-range transportation boundary, is going to be probably the same as our MPO planning boundary, because it just makes sense to look at that broad picture. The only thing that it's replacing right now is the TCC. There'll be opportunities to, as we progress, there's a number of studies that need to be done through the MPO. We have to start on the LRTP because that's kind of the starting point for everything. We'll get that started, and then as we move forward, there'll be other plans. You know, there's mobility plans that are looked at. There's trails, there's, you know, connectivity. There's the transportation network between the communities. So it's a planning organization, and then the implementation is through the three entities as well.
One follow-up, if I may. So this organization is planning specifically for transportation related issues. Motorized, non-motorized.
Commissioner, yes. So all modes of transportation. It'll look at how we can more effectively move people from point A to point B, whether that's through a vehicle, a bike path, shared use path, or through our transit vehicles.
Thank you.
Yes, Manager Burt.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Knopke, can you just refresh everybody's memory on how the financing works with the NPO urban funds, et cetera?
So there's a pot of money for MPOs. And it unfortunately doesn't increase when they add MPOs. So the existing three MPOs of Billings, Missoula, and Great Falls, they'll be seeing a smaller amount because of the Bozeman and Helena coming on board. That might be something that's discussed in, you know, future legislatures or whatever, but that money comes in to fund. That's where that PL agreement comes in. That PL agreement outlines where those PL funds will take place. You know, are we going to use all those PL funds for the studies? Or are we going to fund staff? Are we going to do a mix of both? And that's where that money comes out of. There are some other pots of money for transit, and we just were advised of another one that we have to get verification on for some more implementation stuff instead of planning. So.
No. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Just one question on the financing piece. Do we know if this will make us eligible for any additional federal grants that we might otherwise not have been eligible for?
Commissioner, yes, there's a few there's a few pots of money that have been set aside for MPOs, and money, you know, split as either the HWA or the state has seen fit to divvy up those funds, and so there are a few. I wouldn't say that this opens up a floodgate of funding, but it does put us in a different place and some more opportunities.
Mayor, Commissioner Dean, I also see the opportunity where you have three governments collaborating versus one, which if we're strategic would make us more competitive for existing federal funds. So,
Any other comments from the commission? Director Knopke, you have the floor.
Sorry, Mayor, I failed to introduce Jenny Chambers. She's my counterpart on the county on this whole MPO process. We're the ones that are hopefully getting everything right the first time, so just wanted to make sure I introduce her.
Happy to meet you.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners.
You again, Tim?
talking a lot all day long. Mayor, I just want to take this opportunity. There's been an awful lot of work that's gone into this. Frank and David and Jenny and Chris, Sheila, and a whole bunch of other people have put a lot of time and effort into this.
Any final comments from the commission? From the administrators or managers or anybody? Okay. Agenda items for Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Please contact Nadine McCarthy, extension 8304. Is there anyone from the public wishes to address this body? Madam Clerk, do we have any online?
Mayor, I have no public comment.
Any final comments? This meeting is adjourned.